Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with Bobby Watt. He is the president of RJW Stonemasons. He's a stonemason himself. Bobby, let's sort of unpack a little bit about what the issues are and what the possible solutions are in stonemasonry and trades in general. Is our education and training system still lacking in these areas?
I think we're getting better, Tony. There's been huge outreach to the kids, younger and younger kids now. So I've done talks in high schools to grade 8s, grade 9s now. Before it was always sort of pushed to the grade 11s and 12s just before they left school. But now we're focusing on younger kids to try and see, try and show them that there is another way to go, a way that they can come into the workforce and start earning money right away on day one, hour one, and be trained and be outfitted and be helped through a course of 4 years generally, sometimes 3, but usually a 4-year, 8,000-hour apprenticeship that sees them on the other end of that, making in the high 80s, $90,000, and some of the foremen and specialists as my stonemasons will be over the $100,000 mark, and with that, there's no student debt to pay off.
Right.
They carry on. They carry on with their lives, and can hopefully find a place to buy this reasonable place to live and have their own kids, and the world keeps going along. But getting the kids to understand that it's another way. It's sometimes harder to persuade the parents that it's not every kid has to go to university or college. I always say there are far too many psychologists in the world anyway. We need more stonemasons. So, and there are a lot of people pumping gas at Canadian Tire that have university degrees.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So, I mean, is it starting to have an impact? Are you starting to see those arguments sort of laying the basis for a revival of domestic stonemasons and tradespeople?
Absolutely. I can imagine that there's an awful lot of very, very influential people who are now seeing the benefits of having better trades. I mean, people living in Forest Hill and in Toronto, having to hire a plumber to come and fix something simple and seeing how much they're getting charged would let them see just how critical it is to the whole scheme of things that tradespeople are brought along and trained properly, and all the work that has to be done. We've got a whole lot of work to do up north. We've got a whole lot of work to do in the burgeoning cities with people immigrating. We need people to build houses.
Right, exactly.
Carpenters and electricians, and unfortunately,
yeah, I know.
Unfortunately for us, carpenters and electricians are the ones that the big jobs. They're the ones. They're the clean jobs.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah,
most kids don't want to get their hands dirty.
Well, we've got to work on that, and let's talk about some individual segments of our society, because you mentioned them in the first segment. So how can we get more women involved in stonemasonry and the trades?
We have a big push now, women in trades. It's a countrywide push. The next big thing is in March 8th. And we're trying to bring in, I've got a whole bunch of women in my company, lots of them. In fact, I signed the first woman apprentice mason way back in 1987 or 88. First one ever registered in Ontario. So we have about 20% of our workforce generally are women. And we are, I know from the union, from the guys at the union telling me we're ahead of the game as far as that goes. But there is a big federal, provincial, and union push to get more women into the trades, and it's working. It's working. There are lots of young women who are coming up and being welders and high steel erectors. My goodness, I mean, I couldn't imagine being up that high on a building and moving these big steel beams in. But I know one very famous woman who does just that. But she spends a lot of her time now reaching out to other women and going to schools and talking too. So, and I will talk to your producers, there's somebody that should be on your show for sure.
Yeah, no, that sounds very interesting, and I'm glad that she's getting out there to express how this is open to not just men but also women. So that sounds very interesting for sure. We're going to continue there's a
Absolutely.
bunch of other segments I want to talk to you about as well, but we're going to take a brief commercial break. We'll be back with our guest after that break. Please stay with us.